conversation about some of the hair color that we're seeing out, that's really popular with using more of a direct dye type of hair color. So this is a great example. Her color right here is, tell us a little bit about how, you don't have to use a line, but there's so many different lines out there now that are more of a direct dye. And when I say direct dye, that is that you're not mixing it. There's no ammonia base to it. It's not ammonia free. You're not mixing it with any volume developer. It's a straight pigment. So this is a great example of a straight pigment. And you were telling me that you were kind of bleeding things and that there was a little bit of yellow in the color before you had gotten started.
Right, so normally she's like a white platinum blonde, and I did her bleach retouch, and when I did her retouch I ended up with a little bit of yellow left in the hair, and I toned it like I always do. However, it didn't tone out completely, like right through this section right here. And so I went to put gray on it, thinking I was going to go gray into her white blonde. And because I left that little bit of yellow, it was obviously an operator mistake. Her hair turned green. So then I had to change up my entire plan and kind of go greenish blue into this super pale bluish gray on the ends. And so, obviously I'd like to not do that next time, but she also wants to be back to platinum blonde again. So my question to Pepper was like, what do I do now? How do I get this out?
So two key things, just some tips when you're working with these type of color, is that when you're formulating the color, you really need to use the color wheel. So it's a little bit different science. It's more of kind of like a art school project of looking at complementary colors and then your tertiary colors, and the fact that things are going to neutralize each other. So if you've got yellow to purple, so on and so forth, like you would in maybe art school. So because there was yellow in there and then we were using a cool shade, it is going to neutralize it. And the cool shades tend to be very, very strong, so you do need to be careful with those. The second part is when you are using these colors, your traditional color removers that are going to interact really well with permanent color are not going to interact well with these type of colors. It's a very different makeup. So great things with this that you're talking about that you want to kind of move this out is, one, letting it fade on its own is always the gentlest way to go if you could do that. You guys call it, tell me what you call it, a glamour
shampoo.
A glamour shampoo. And that's what you're doing. You're just taking a little bit of shampoo, taking a little bit of lightener to that, making almost like a little bit of a paste. You're going to put that on dry hair, and what it's going to do is just going to start to open up the cuticle and get that color moving out there a little bit. Lightener is always another way to go, but if you go on lightener directly, all you're going to do is start getting a lift to a lighter shade. And then the last tip, will you come over here with the pink? This is such a great example. This looks beautiful, and you've got a really great richness of the root, and then the bleed here is really pretty. So it's all about when you want that rich depth and you don't want to have any hollow. And when we say hollow, it's when it looks really, really sheer. And that was okay in this one because we knew we wanted it to wash out. But when you want a lot of depth to it, you're going to take finer sections and go really, really heavy and oversaturate. So sometimes if you're used to doing a single process with permanent color, you may need twice as much product when you're doing this, because you really, really, really want to saturate that root there and then bleed down. And you can even layer with clear and bleed into clear if you want a really, really nice pale end and shade longer.